I'm Davie.
I'm Misty.
DMWATS.
Unscripted.
Unedited.
Unapologetic.
Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Davie.
I'm Misty.
And we are DMWATS. Everybody, welcome to another episode of DMWATS podcast. It is good to see everybody once again. We're glad to be back. Before we get into it, we're going to say we are part of that Doge Army. Go ahead and point it out, baby. Doge, AMC, okay, and the Sheba Army. We're part of all that. I know y'all saw what was going on with AMC. I know y'all saw what happened.
And you know, you told me, and then I forgot to look. And so, yeah. I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not up a lot.
Yeah, but he's up. It did his thing for a little bit. You know what I mean? So hopefully it stays up and continue to go.
See what happens tomorrow, so I can sell it. Sell, Mortimer,
I'm
sell.
telling you, we'll see what happens. But yeah. Like we said, guys, welcome to another episode. You guys can also make sure you go over to DMWATSpodcast.com.
Yeah.
You guys can check us out over there. All of our up-to-date episodes will be on there. So go ahead and check us out over there too. I love the little man and white thing you got going on there. Yeah, it was there. She's pointing at it's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. She's definitely doing her thing with the lights and all of that. So, but anyway, y'all, seriously, welcome to the episode, guys. We have to say the same thing that we said yesterday. It's hot.
It is very hot. It's very, 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 very hot.
You gotta say the same thing we said yesterday, bruh.
It's hot.
And it continues to be hot. It's like 100 and I think the high today was 101.
But in the truck it was 109.
It said 109 when we got in the truck.
And we don't have leather seats, thank God. And we got in, we were like, oh shit, oh God, it was burning our legs.
Dude, we got cloth seats, and the cloth seats were hot. We were like, bruh, oh man, is it worth going to get this?
So basically, the moral of the story is, please be careful out there in the next couple of days.
Absolutely.
Wherever you are in the country, because the whole country's hot.
Yeah, it's really hot. So you guys definitely,
it's hot.
Be careful, take those precautions. And also, before I pull from this fishbowl, I am going to take another moment to point up and say, vote for Misty in the Fabulous Over 40 contest. You guys, as usual, we're going to be flashing this. Get used to the flash. She's in the top 10 right now. She's in the top, all right. She's in the top 10 right now.
You said you were flashing them.
Yeah, okay, now I see why.
That's why I did it.
Okay, gotcha.
You're flashing.
She's in the top 10 right now. She's got about just 2 more day or two left in the top 10. After that, it's the top 5. And then on to a whole nother headache when it comes to the finals.
Vote for me. I really want to be in the top 5. I really, really, really want to win.
You guys, it's a free vote. So you guys click the link. If not able to click it, make sure you go on and type in the link. It is a free daily vote.
Yep.
So moving on.
You're going to go to the fishbowl. I am going to say this. I want to talk about very briefly last night. We had some things happen to us. You can hear it on episode Afterlife. It is not staged. It is not faked. We're not that good at editing. We're not that good at that stuff, nor did we play anything out. If we would have done something like that, it would have been in October.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to our YouTube and you will see it. Go to our TikTok, you will see it. Go to our Facebook, you will see it. And of course, at DMWATSpodcast.com, we'll be throwing it up there. But yeah, we had a paranormal experience. So anybody out there that's a ghost hunter that would like raw footage, unedited footage, I'll give it to you.
That's facts.
All you gotta do is DMWATSpodcast@gmail.com.
Y'all ain't never had this,
I promise.
A microphone falling once is a coincidence. It falling 3 times, like what is going on?
And then I said at the end of it, I don't want to hear the audio. And he goes in and transfers everything over to YouTube and Podbean. And so then it goes out to iHeart and everybody else. I wasn't paying attention. Last night we were going to bed. You were in the shower. I went ahead and was watching the video. And I freaked out. Did I not?
Yeah.
14 minutes in. Actually, it was 13:04.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys go back and check it 13:04. That's all we'll say.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's all we'll say.
But we took care of it today.
We took care of it.
By God. Thank you, Jesus.
Definitely took care of it.
We took care of it.
We absolutely did.
I just had to say that if anybody's wondering. And again, if you are a ghost hunter, if you would like the raw footage, it's yours.
Have at it. But
the haunted podcast.
That's whatever you want to say. So, all right. So what I pulled.
Oh yeah, what did you pull?
I pulled cultural. That's what I pulled.
Cultural.
Yeah, like culture. Like cultural is what I
Sure.
pulled. You want to get that one in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I pulled cultural. What I originally pulled.
Oh,
I don't even.
too?
Yes, because we get the naughty boy and girl from my parents about the cursing on the podcast. We still don't curse on the podcast, but the one that I pulled out of the fishbowl topic was cussing. So I was like, I'm putting that back. I'm putting
that would have been perfect just to say hi, Mama. I love you.
Yes. I'll wait for you to pull that one. I'm like, well, we gotta do it.
That would have been good.
We can do that. We'll put it back.
No, I'm just saying, no, the moment's ruined. The spontaneity of it would have made my mother cringe.
Yeah, we would have been getting all of these, and then so on and so forth. Bring on the pinches, and I told y'all not to be doing.
But I had to learn from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And I blame Mommy.
So we're gonna talk about culture. Yeah, we want to start off, baby?
No.
You don't even look interested now. Now that
Well,
I just not cussing.
I mean, it's like, well, I don't know. Like, what about cultural? I guess I'm like, why did I just write one word? I gave myself no hints.
Because it was like
I gave myself no hints.
Like she wrote the topics down. We came up with. Now it's both our fault because we both came up with the topics, but she wrote it down. And there's been a few.
We always think we're gonna remember what we mean.
There's been a few that we pulled. Like, what the hell were we thinking? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what this is talking about.
It's like pulling a fishbowl topic and it says 4. For what? The number to give?
Yeah. And
score?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So cultural, what is culture? Then what do you think culture is?
Well, I think
what is to you culture?
I think so. I think in my opinion, I feel like culture is highly I guess similar to a lot of people, the way they put it, into race. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it shouldn't be. Yes, so I feel like culture is
culture into race.
I feel like it does. So like, well, let me case in point. Case in point. Have you guys ever heard? And I know that you guys have seen it on TV, a movie, or in the somebody put it on the Facebook post. Hey, for the culture, right? And it's like for the culture of what? For the culture of hip hop, for the culture of Black people, for the culture of this. For the culture, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I feel like it can be lumped into some, that people lump it into some with race.
Okay.
Yes, because like for the culture, you'll constantly hear when people talk about our culture, our culture is this, our culture is this. A lot of people think about it. They look at hip hop culture as no, it's Black people.
Yeah.
And when we allow some other races in, right?
Culture.
They allow some other races in. I'm like, well, okay, so this is a race, not a culture then. It's not about the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Food, to my opinion, is a type of culture. Because it's like different, different cultures, different races have they form different cultures with food, you know what I'm saying, mannerisms, and things like that. But I don't think a whole entire like, hey, no, hip hop was only a Black culture, which I think it was something that it may have been put on the scene, and you know what I mean? But there were plenty of different races.
But I think for hip hop in particular, it comes from spoken word. And to me, although spoken word is in every culture, I think culturally speaking, for this instance, it was largely made popular by African Americans.
Yeah, that 100% it was made popular by African Americans.
The beatniks, we had it all in the 60s and stuff, but still spoken word was very much and something that comes from.
So what we did, what the wife did, we went on and looked up the definition of culture. And what did we come up with?
I'll make sure. So cultural, the definition. I'm looking it up in the Funk and Wagnall. That's for the old people out there. Relating to the ideas, customs, and social behavior of a society.
There you go. Of a society, not a race.
Of a society.
Of a society.
So you could argue then, with what you're talking about, that hip hop is a culture of a society. The society remains in America. Therefore, hip hop is American.
Right. You could go that way with it. You know what I mean?
You could argue that. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's.
But when you examine it, and there's a lot of people who are stuck in their ways when it comes to like any other explanation is going to be sell out. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Like, No,
No,
it's the exact truth. Because let's think about that. You said, okay, read it again. You said culture is
Let me go back to it.
okay. Because the way I see it is it's kind of like, you know, the way we do certain things, the way that we are with.
Right.
Okay, what does it say?
Relating to the ideas, customs, and social behavior of the society.
Right.
Or of a society.
Right. Now, in that term, would you say that racism is a culture?
Because
looking at the based on the definition, would you say racism is a culture?
No.
Why would you say that?
That racism is a culture?
Okay, no, but read it based on that definition. Read what it says.
Ideas, customs, and social. Oh, sure, I would, because racism is an idea of society.
It is an idea, a stupid one.
Yes.
But an idea of a society.
But yet it's similar. So the similar words, it doesn't mean the synonym, but words that are similar is ethnic, racial, folk, societal.
Yeah.
So that tells you right there that
they are
culturally.
Yeah.
The word cultural is not a race word.
Yeah. And
now, if you throw it in with cultural appropriation,
that's totally different.
Now you've gone into the race world.
Yeah, that's totally different. So, but let's talk about, you know, different type of cultures. Like you got food cultures.
Oh, man.
You know, and that happens to be one of the ones we love to talk about.
And here's the thing: when I say I'm a foodie, I don't just mean of my ethnic background.
Okay.
I mean, I want to taste from everybody's background.
Yeah.
And I hate it because I had my very favorite food truck here, a lumpia food truck. I love lumpia.
Yeah,
I love Filipino food because, again, Portuguese, Hawaiian influences, Portuguese in my house, but it was by the way of Hawaii. So largely Filipino foods, melting pot Hawaii. And so lumpia was a big thing. And plus I grew up in the Bay Area. So it was lumpia. So everybody's mom made lumpia.
Yeah.
And it was a white woman that had actually, her husband was in the military, had spent 10 years over in the Philippines and all these places and had restaurants over there. She was taught by them to make lumpia. She was chased out of a town. I won't say which one.
Okay.
And shut down because the backlash she was getting and saying it was cultural appropriations from many cultures. When this whole cancel culture started, was horrible. And I hated it because her food was so good. Right. Oh, man, it was so good. And she loved the Filipinos. She just did. She was a part of their culture. They made her a part of it, and they didn't mind, but everybody else did.
And that's the thing. So I mean, we talk about cultures, right? And that, like in the culture I was brought up in, you know what I mean? This is one thing that I also hate. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like culture I'm brought up in is just like, hey, you ever seen a black man that don't like chicken? It's just part of your culture. It's part of your upbringing. Like, how do you not? Like, it's fact. If you meet one, you know what I'm saying, then it's like, wait,
there has to be vegetarian.
What? There are, but see, and I've ran into people, which me and you have ran into people that don't know how to eat chicken wing. And this guy happened to be.
Don't get me started.
He happened to be a black guy, and literally their talk was, wait, what?
Don't get me started. But I mean, I see your point though. So but what and that's what I was saying is, like, I love all cultural food. I love all food. Yeah. I want to taste all food, all cultures. I don't see food as a race thing. Yeah. I see food as a sharing thing.
So when you start talking about cultures, different cultures of food, then so what would you associate like different foods with? Like, hey, that's like, okay, so obviously chicken it's stereotyped as, you know, the black culture, right? And when that's not, the blacks aren't the only one that like chicken. I mean, come on, that's just not it.
Happened to love
chicken. You know what I'm saying? And then there's, you know, when it comes to like noodles and stuff like that, people will lump that they'll lump that as Asians. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so
curry.
Curry, all those.
You don't think about Yeah,
when you hear
starts,
curry,
right. Well, like I said, lumpia, fried rice,
Mhm.
spam.
Yeah, when I think
Even though spam it is American
Right.
as apple freaking pie.
but you will also think, no, Hawaii is part of America, but people would think
you
about,
know for a fact that Hawaii, when spam was made
Mhm.
in the 40s, okay,
Okay.
and given to Hawaii, the population, even though it was American, it's a state, was still made up of transplants.
Yeah.
And they assimilated that food. I mean, they really did. I mean, thank God for it, because I am a spam lover, because I grew up with it.
Yeah. Same here.
Filipino Hawaiian culture I grew up with.
Gum and cheese.
Or Portuguese.
So
cheese. I grew up with that too. So where's the cultural significance in that, other than football season? That's a culture. Velveeta, government cheese.
That is it. Yeah, that is a. Yeah, you're right. That is a culture. The football, sports. Period. It's its own. It's its own.
You gotta
culture.
have it for your queso.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have that. Oh yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. You just gotta have it, because there's
put it in the crock pot.
Of course, and people will sit there and it's like, wait a minute, I ain't got no nachos and cheese or no salsa.
Right.
It's like you were looked at like foolishly, like what? That's like standard.
And you correct me up when it comes to Velveeta or government cheese. American processed cheese is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
When you first made macaroni for me, I was like, "Where's the Velveeta?" And you were like, "How dare you?"
No. I was like, I will not use Velveeta in my macaroni cheese.
So good,
I don't use Velveeta in my macaroni cheese.
But that's interesting, because I think as a society, we have taken the word cultural and made it a race thing. Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say. I feel like
you're right.
It's gotten lost in the
translation.
Right, and then we talk about ideals. Right, because look, we left the definition up so we can resort back to it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? There's like ideas. What was the other one?
Relating to the
ideas.
Well, and relating to the arts and to intellectual achievements.
Oh, wow.
Of a society.
Yeah, because you can talk about our achievement with art, the culture itself.
Sure.
Because that's a culture. And I have never been able to, I guess, grasp that the art culture. I've never been able to grasp it until I ran into you.
I think you're doing better though.
Yeah, that's what I said. Until I ran into you.
Yeah.
I was never, because before I met you, what I thought was the best art around, before I met you, now mind you.
I can't wait for this answer. I have no idea what you're
I didn't meet my wife until December of 2018. Now, here's the thing. Before I met her, what I thought was like the greatest art ever was back in the day when they used to have those paintings and they were 3D images on the inside of it.
Oh man, you had to let your eyes go.
You had to let your eyes go.
And the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, you had to, and they would.
You go cross-eyed.
Yep, and they would put certain images in there in 3D. Like I remember the Star Trek one that I had. I was like, oh snap, that's Star Trek. Now, granted, you need glasses probably because of that now, but
that's the truth.
It was
because they were in every mall. It was at every kiosk. Mall. Stop. You just see a bunch of people staring at something going cross-eyed. Hey, it was a precursor to cell phones.
That's true. But before that,
it was heavily pixelated. If you don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Now that's before I met you, and then I met you, and then it's like, hey, appreciation of art. It doesn't have to be something so expensive to appreciate it. You know, the art behind, hey, just take a look at this. Don't take a look. Remember that one that we saw? I kid y'all not. It's probably on Facebook all over. It's a painting, and it's called time lapse. Remember what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
It's a painting. This guy it's a nice picture of the city.
He paints New York. This beautiful painting of the downtown area.
And then he just throws a white glob of paint on it.
Yeah.
You're like, he just screwed this
up. Ruined the painting.
Right in the middle. He throws a big old glob of paint and then he slides it down with the brush. Yeah. And inside that white painting, he draws
a jungle. Landscape.
Yeah, like a kind of like with lions. And,
he'll do a forest scene or a jungle scene. And it's just cool and it's new and it's unique and I love that. And that's what I love about social media. That's what I love about the internet is it brought art to everybody.
It did.
My favorite VR place with the goggles is to go to the different museums. You can go to different museums and walk through them.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. And I would love to see those.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see those but yeah, we talk about culture though. Like what was the other one? I said art and what was it? Intellectual achievements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like at the Kennedy Center honors. I mean, we honor Garth Brooks, Maya Angelou, all these different, walks of life, and different art forms. So that in itself is a cultural society,
right?
The art society. Authors have their own society.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
everybody.
One could argue that it is more so of a cultural world, more so than anything.
Well, it
you know
is.
What I mean? Rather than just the society itself.
But sometimes I think that people aren't comfortable unless they separate you. You have to. People don't like anybody that doesn't fit into a freaking box.
Be careful. Go ahead, preach on it though.
Why I gotta be careful?
I'm just joking, baby.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead. Let's go. Because
I don't have my fan. You know what?
No. Those are the ones that. No, when you hear that, people don't like. It's but like
they don't
recognize unless there's something unique about you as an individual.
And and it's just I don't know. I don't get the whole. Now I can understand the cultural appropriation thing. I can understand that. But at the same time, I guess it just depends on the culture you were brought up in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the Portuguese don't get mad if anybody else is fishing or anybody else is making lace.
Okay.
It's not a thing. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
They're making lace too. They're not made as good as me, but hey, cool. I mean, everybody's got lace or port, or wine, or.
You kind of over there like, yeah, that's cute.
I mean, that's, I guess, it doesn't bother me. Not that anybody, was like trying to mimic being Portuguese.
Yeah. But hey.
But you never know. Maybe they were.
Yep. And so I can say this right off the top that, when you start talking about, okay, first of all, my dog stopped bumping up against the thing.
She just wants your attention.
I guess so. But when we start talking about different cultures, I think one of the biggest things that I learned, like being in the military, like that's probably one of the biggest things that I love the most was I got to experience different cultures or different walks of life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, heck, and even going.
The Japanese culture is huge
to you.
It's a huge influence in our house because of that.
Yeah, and even so much is going down to not just Japan, but or Okinawa, but going to Louisiana. I mean, Louisiana. When I told you I went for the crawfish,
that's a whole other culture.
That's a whole nother culture. I'm telling you, Louisiana and all that.
And I want to go.
I'm gonna tell you, man, they crawfish, boy, they give you a big old bag of crawfish. And I'm trying to be cool like everybody else. Like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. And then I open up the box and like I see not the box, but the bag. Now see people just throwing them on the table. They throw them all on the table. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't get a good look at what it was. Like, oh, it's that pink stuff. Must be the sauce. No, but then I throw my bag on the table. And I'm like, hey, these things got eyes on them. What's
why is that head attached?
Like maybe that's the shell. I gotta pull it back like a shrimp or something like that.
Nope.
No, just guts.
Yep.
So just before I do, I peel back.
The head,
well, the first time I did it, I felt like I said, "Oh, okay." I thought it was a shrimp. I'm like, "Let me go ahead and peel it," and then I'm like, "It's just tore apart." I'm like, "What's all this in here?" Yeah, throw that one away. I clearly got a bad one. You know what I'm saying? Then I do the other one, and I'm like, same thing happened. So clearly, I'm peeling it from the wrong side. Let me go from there, and I'm like, I can't ask people. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not paying attention.
You're supposed to know.
Yeah, I'm supposed to know, right? And so I'm looking at I'm sorry, I didn't want to look at. I want to look at nobody else because I'm like, no, I need supposed to know. So then I'm like, okay, well, let me pull it from the tail. Nope, that's okay. Why is this? And finally, I look up. I see people that they look like zombies to me. They just, they looking at me. I'm like, hey,
Can I get a burger?
Yeah, that looks disgusting.
Can I have some chicken strips, please?
That looks very disgusting. Why are you doing that? You just bit the head off and just sucked all the insides out. That's pretty nasty. Until I did it once, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I had a few of them, but then it got me after my 20th one. I was like,
you can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, I can't. And plus they in the best seasoning ever. You know what I mean? The seasoning that they, when you go to a boil like that, food. Man, oh yeah, we're in the food, but whatever. I mean, we make no apologies at all. But when you do that, it's like, man, the culture itself, right? Mm-hmm. That culture, because I think each state, even cities, got their own culture.
Well, and that's the thing to that. Too, is each state, like you said, has its own culture. Mm-hmm. And I have traveled these great United States from coast to coast. And in some regards, at one time I did it in 30 days because I had to make stops. And I'm telling you, there is a difference in the way your Pepsi tastes in California and the way it tastes in New England and the way it tastes in the South and the way it tastes in the Midwest.
And abroad.
Same with Coke. Same with all your drinks, because everybody has a different taste. There's plants that service that region. So this region might be more sweeter. This region might taste like Pepsi when you're actually ordering a Coke. And this region, it's going to taste like a Coke when you're ordering a Pepsi.
True story.
I hope I did that right. Anyways, it's really, you know, some of them say pop, some say soda, some say Coke.
I'm used to saying pop.
Right.
I'm used to saying pop.
And some say Coke. And that means everything. Can I get a Coke? What kind? That's the standard response. You go to your waitress, can I get a Coke? What kind?
I know it's that way in the South.
And it would, that's what I'm saying. And that would, that confuses some people that aren't from the South. Me, I'm like, Sprite. And Dr. Pepper.
Because I know in the South, let me get a Coke. Even when we went down visiting, when we heard it, like, we get a Coke. Like,
can I get a Coke?
You're like, wait, what? But, you know, but different cultures, right? You know, and I think the ideas.
Well, then you have, I mean, you have religious culture.
That's why I was literally just about to say religious.
Because we were talking about Louisiana.
Yeah.
So you're going into a whole other territory of religious culture,
right?
Which I find fascinating. I am a world religion person. I love apologetics. I love theology. It scares you. I had a painting I brought into this house that he thought was a voodoo priestess and wanted out. And I was like, dude, I don't do voodoo. Like, I don't even mess with voodoo. I find it fascinating. I study it, but I would never do anything in the name of voodoo. It scares the shit out of me.
Because you know, for those who don't know, if you haven't watched Tales from the Hood, go to that, and I showed you Tales from the Hood. Remember, we watched Tales from the Hood.
And I was laughing my ass off.
She started laughing when I seen the picture. There's a picture of a black woman in a rocking chair, like a grandma with a bunch of kids around her, and that the picture that she drew looked exactly. I said, "You never watched Tales from the Hood?" She said, "No." Let me show you what you just drew. Let me show you.
But I had seen it when I was a teenager. I just thought it was a stupid movie, so I never watched it again. So I had no.
Never was like, "Hey, amazing movie."
I remembered it, but the fact that it impacted you as a teenager and your brother Tavares as a teenager made me laugh, because there you go, culturally. Culturally, I was like, you know, okay, it's good, but where them, it's like, oh my God, they're, you know, they can't deal with it. So when he, so much so that when he saw my painting, he freaked. And I just have to say, she was sold and now lives in Kuwait.
She's in Kuwait. She lives in Kuwait.
But she made me an international artist, and
That's
I love her for it. And I cried for 2 days because I sold it.
Fab over 40. That's all I'm saying. So,
but I just and there you go. What? Because I remember saying to you, who would, and the person that bought it was a person from Kuwait. It wasn't like an American in Kuwait. And so I was like, that fascinated me, because this painting was of an older Cuban lady with a cigar hanging out of her mouth.
It was pretty good though. That painting was pretty good.
And so culturally, I bring it in. You think it's a voodoo priestess, and then someone in Kuwait thought whatever they thought. And I find that fascinating.
And I gotta say that, you know, right off the top, that when it comes to a lot of things, when you start talking about culture, I mean, it's so fascinating, right?
It is.
Whether it's religion, whether it's art, whether it's food.
Everything has a culture.
Everything has a culture. Everything has a culture.
My phone is...
just get out of it.
Okay, that didn't matter.
But everything has a culture. Every society has one. It was okay. That was so random, but it's cool.
That was so weird.
It was so weird, but it's cool at the same time.
And that sucks, because I really was getting ready to make a point.
Okay, you had a thought, and then it was gone.
Man,
I'm sorry, baby.
I hate when that happens.
No, it happens to us both. Every time we click this off, we be like, you know what?
But I mean, there are things I don't agree with. I mean, if we go into cultural appropriation,
obviously, go ahead.
I have a hard time with hair because I went to beauty school. Can you tell? So there were things I learned to do. And I guess I'm just I believe in what I call the melting pot.
Okay.
And I always had braids in my hair. I always had, you know, but it never occurred to me that because nobody said, cultural appropriation. That was not a thing.
Yeah.
Now, would I agree with, there were some times that I would know chicks that were getting tan in the bed, in the tanning beds.
Yeah.
You know what I
that's just
mean?
my
And I'm like, Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
But it's like, so there are things I don't agree with. If you are trying to make yourself appear to be of a culture that you are not a part of or have not grown up in.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can be,
to me, that's an issue.
Right, that could be a little.
Now,
a little
if
bit.
you didn't know you were part of that culture and come to find out you did a DNA test or whatever, and it comes to find out that you are, then I've got no problem with you exploring that side of you, but you need to be at least 35%. Yeah. Like I'm sitting there going, yeah, you need to be more than 2%. Yeah,
and so there's that. So, but hey, look, when it comes to culture, there's so many different things that we can sit here and compare, say from a society.
But of course, we're going to go to the food part of it.
Of course, we love to stay on the food part because it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and say that right now. But there, like we said, there's so many different ones. But the one thing that we do have to say on that, though, is like, be careful not to lump and confuse culture with race. Don't confuse the culture with a race thing, because that's not what it boils down to. So, well, that's our other cue. But we've been on here long enough. But before we go, you guys know what it is. We're gonna flash it. Vote for Misti and the Fab over 40 contest. We really appreciate your free daily vote. Free daily vote. Free. So we're gonna flash that across there. So you guys know what it is. Doge, AMC, we part of all of that, and plus we're part of that Sheba Army. You guys signing off for DMWATS. I am Davie.
I'm Misti.
And we are DMWATS. Y'all make sure you catch us on DMWATSpodcast.com. Check y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Oh, wait, was that called?
Huh? I don't know, maybe what? I don't know, we did. But we did.
We did.
Oh, look, they cut off. Oh, strange that way.
Isn't that amazing?
Strange that it
A little
works.
bit of holy water.
Mm-hmm.